Hi, moms. So this video is for those of you who are breastfeeding or early postpartum, and obviously there's also a recovery play or role playing in here. So I would like it to show you how to adjust the meals if you're feeling. So when you're breastfeeding, you might feel like if you are actually reduce the carbs too much, you might feel like lightheaded. You might feel all this kind of symptoms of low blood sugar, okay? Because breastfeeding just does this thing to us that we're a bit more insulin resistant. So we kind of cannot skip all the carbs, okay? That's why I'm going to give you a little bit of options. The same, what I've heard as well for many of you is a concern towards protein powders, because obviously it is a chemically engineered thing. And it is also containing sweeteners, and some of you are not feeling very comfortable taking it while breastfeeding, although it is completely safe. I do understand that. And I would like to show you what we could do in terms of breakfast and in terms of also meals to make sure that you have this constant kind of carb intake, but a little bit mid, not so low, but also from the low glycemic options, so it doesn't further kind of impact your blood sugars, okay? Let me share the screen with you, and let me go through this tracker. So in here we have, I actually put it the shake options, the different ones, but let's say that you really don't want to go towards that route because you're afraid or you're worried or you just not feel comfortable, okay? And it's completely fine. Other options for breakfast could be eggs, and because we put two eggs in here, you might sound like, okay, well, how do I do these eggs? So I'm gonna give you some options of how you could actually do the eggs, okay? Because there's a lot. You could do egg cups, you could do egg omelets, you could do egg shakshuka, you could do scrambled eggs, you could do boiled eggs, you could do fried eggs. So there's a lot of options for doing the eggs, okay? Then, if you have the eggs, then you can add some sliced meat to it. You could add some smoked salmon, so sliced meat or smoked salmon as an option in here. And then ideally some vegetables. So when vegetables, what I'm saying here is more mainly like cucumber, tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, so anything that is raw and you can keep raw, you don't have to cook it, because I already had that question of like, oh, how am I going to cook it for breakfast? No. It's more like raw vegetables. And then fruit or rice cakes, or in terms of, because that's kind of like the options for the hypoallergenic diet. If you're not following the hypoallergenic diet, you could have bread as well. With a hypoallergenic, you would also have bread, but we always kind of encourage you to go for sourdough or some rye, good quality bread. Okay, so much better to go to the bakery and get something baked in there that is not white and it's not like simple, it's more like rye kind of or sourdough, but not the store-bought option, because those will be also packed with a lot of weird stuff that we don't want to have, okay? So that's kind of main thing with this. Then, so if we are still with the eggs, so this is like, let's say it's scrambles, poached, boiled or fried. And then if you would want to try, I have some recipes in here. For example, we have egg muffins with turkey, or actually you could add the smoked salmon and spinach. So the way you do it, you just mix it all in a bowl, then you put it inside the muffin cups, and then you make the muffins that you can heat up in the morning. There is omelette wrap. So omelette wrap means that you just make an omelette with the eggs, okay? And then you stuff it in with whatever you want. It could be turkey, it could be ham, it could be smoked salmon, and then you can add stuff like avocado, cucumber, so anything you want into that sort of thing. So you just use it as a lettuce wrap, basically. You just use it as an egg wrap. Inside, you stuff things. The third option would be shakshuka with extra egg whites. So shakshuka is the sort of thing where you actually cook the eggs inside the tomato sauce, but it's mainly tomato from diced tomatoes. So it is better because it not uses like the shop or store kind of based processed sauces, but it's actually from tomatoes. So that's actually a good, nice option. It takes a while to cook it, so it could be a nice idea for like Saturday and Sunday. But it's very good, okay? And it does a twist to the normal egg. So if the egg is like the thing that you might not feel like eating every day, it really does do the trick. Then other options, you could have Soy or coconut yogurt if we're talking about hypoallergenic, or a standard lower fat Greek yogurt or skyr. Then what you want to do, you could add some berries, some apple, some bananas. I would say here maybe half banana. And then in this case, so if we actually add banana into the yogurt, if it's a soy base, for example, which does not have a lot of fat, we want to kind of make sure that we're adding some sort of fat, so obviously seeds, and then maybe a bit of sprinkle of oats. So breakfast cereal, I would say for the breastfeeding, maybe not because of the sugar content, but oats, absolutely fine. Okay. The other thing would be a chia, using a chia as well as the seeds in here. Another option that you might find kind of satisfactory would be a chia pudding. Okay, so there's a way of making a chia pudding. I can put some recipes as well in here when we're going to be discussing it. The chia pudding is made with chia seeds, and then you pour either unsweetened almond milk or coconut milk on top of it. You could mix it with a bit of Greek yogurt or soy or coconut yogurt, so that's going to give the protein a little bit more protein. And then you could just put some berries inside and a bit of honey, for example. And that's going to be a very good, nice kind of breakfast meal that's going to keep you for longer, because chias have higher fat content, but also nice boost of fiber. Okay, so good option as well if you're constipated. The other kind of thing I could suggest, again, egg-based, because of the fact that eggs are our best kind of best friends, because of the fact that they have the protein. If we don't want to use the protein powders, you could make sweet eggs. Okay, so instead of mixing them with turkey, you would just mix them with banana, for example. So you would have eggs, banana, a bit of unsweetened milk alternative, and then a little bit of oats, and you would just make like a pancake or an omelette from that. Okay, and that you could have with toppings such as a spread of peanut butter, and then some berries, cherries, or any sort of fruit that you would like in a smaller portion. So that's for breakfast. For lunch, more like really, really important for moms who are breastfeeding and who are recovering is to make sure that we have those carbs. So like if we look at the little carbs, yes, just make sure they have them, because I many times see that moms actually skip this part. They just don't add the carbs. They focus on protein, vegetables, and little fat. If they skip the carbs, they feel this energy drop and this sugar drop. So like we would like to have the carbs. The good sources would be either lentils, beans, or any sort of chickpeas. I know they have some protein as well, but they will really keep your sugar stable. The other ones would be any sort of grains that are not processed. You could add the oats in here. You could do rice, maybe on the browner side in here, just to kind of be on a hypoallergenic side. Obviously, the other thing or quicker one would be lentils, pasta, or any sort of chickpea pasta. So again, this sort of thing, if you really want the pasta for your toddler, or if you really have no time to cook and there's only a pasta left, or potatoes, that's absolutely fine as well. Just make sure that you have that little portion of carbs in here. Then we have different snack options, everything that you could choose from. And then we have doing the same thing. We just want to get that carbs in. Good. Again, breastfeeding and early postpartum, I would say you won't have that snack in. Okay, so I think 3 meals a day might not be enough, because you will want to eat a lot for those meals, and also you would be running a long time without a snack or a meal. So if you are early postpartum breastfeeding, and that means breastfeeding a lot, you want to get that snack in, and that could look like mixed nuts and fruit. It could be yogurt again and berries. It could be hard-boiled egg with steaks, with veg steaks. It could be hummus pots. It could be different types of rice cakes with different spreads, or with smoked salmon, or with egg. Okay, so anything that you kind of can think about that has low sugar content, combines protein and fat, or protein and a small portion of carbs. Awesome. I hope that's understandable. And yeah, if you have any questions, I'm always here, so you can drop me a message on WhatsApp. Bye.